In the Rye Podcast is a proud member of the Borellis Podcasters Guild.
His name is Curt, a really funny guy, and this is his podcast, In the Rye. It's the In the Rye Podcast. Curt Fletcher.
This episode is brought to you by Southwest Labs, which offers a huge variety of tests: STD testing, prostate screening, diabetes monitoring, COVID-19 testing, and more. You simply choose your tests, get tested, get your results, and get a doctor's interpretation virtually. It's easier than the hassle of making an appointment with your doctor. Call 505-609-LABS, visit southwestlab.com, or find them on social media at Southwest Lab for more information or to schedule a test today. With locations in Albuquerque and Las Cruces, Southwest Labs makes medical lab testing simple. Mention this ad when you schedule your appointment. Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in. It's episode 38 in the Rye Podcast with Curt Fletcher. I'm your host, Curt Fletcher. Today's guest is going to be Denver comedian Jeff Koehn, who I've gotten to know a little bit over the past year, past year and a half, I guess. Super nice dude, so let's go talk to Jeff Koehn, everybody. All right. Recording in progress. What's up? Jeff Koehn.
Hey, how's it going?
Good, man. You just got back from Atlanta, right? Was it Atlanta?
Atlanta, yep. It was great. I was there last week. A couple days. Went in Wednesday, played at the Punchline for the World Series of Comedy. And small crowd that night, but great crowd. And, man, super fun.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, I've heard the Punchline's a great room, so very cool.
It's kind of a unique thing because it's like what they did is, so it's part of the Landmark Diner in that kind of that north side of downtown Atlanta, Buckhead. And what they've done is they remodeled the back half and turned it into the comedy club.
Oh, cool.
So you can do your set and then just walk over and get waffles, you know?
Oh, nice. Yeah, I did the Laughing Skull Festival there back in 2012, and the club that was hosting it was also in the back of a restaurant.
Well, yeah. I did 3 years ago. I was on the Red Clay Comedy Festival, and the day before the festival started, I went over to Laughing Skull, and I think I talked through somebody connected me through to the host. They had a Thursday night Wheel of Doom type show. And they're like, oh yeah, come in and do 5 minutes. And it was 5 minutes of hell. Because they throw, they spin the wheel, they throw all kinds of weird questions. And my improv game was not quite up to speed at that time. So it was pretty rough. They asked me, one of the questions was, if you were a fast food restaurant, what would you be and why? And I was like, I don't know, Denny's? And they're like, okay, how come? Because I'm greasy? Okay, I'll leave. And they were not amused.
I've had a bunch of old dudes inside me.
Yeah, that would have been better. Bunch of old dudes inside me, yeah. But no, that was a cool little club because you walk through that front bar / restaurant area and back into the club.
Yeah.
And,
I somehow ended up in the manager's office that night I was there, and it was a cool place. They had I don't know how I ended up down there because I didn't know anybody in the room. And I had just met this one comic, and I guess he knew the owner maybe, and so we were all down there. It was 5 or 6 of us, and it's just a cool little room, where the guy was working on a bunch of cool stuff, and they were listening to NWA on vinyl, which I thought was really cool.
Nice. How it was meant to be played, that warmth.
Yeah. But Atlanta's, man, I had a blast there. Did you ever go to the Claremont Lounge at all?
Oh, man. Yeah, we were just talking about that. So in 2018, I went. We did a Friday night show on the festival, and then, hey, we're going down to Claremont. So everybody went down. Old Lady Strip Club. They were shaking. It was and the place was packed.
Oh yeah.
Because it was they come right up to you. That platform is like, you got the bar here, and then the platform comes right up to the edge of the bar, and you're like looking up at them, and it was great, And what I loved is that those old ladies, man, they were like full of confidence and swagger, and they loved every minute of it, and yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I think you and I might have talked about that place before when we hung out. They did a documentary about one of the strippers there, Blondie, I think her name was, maybe.
Oh, and I think I remember her, because she's kind of like, she reminded me of like one of those office ladies that used to work for my dad. She had kind of that, hey, Bob, what are you doing after work? Let's get a martini. And that was her. That's what she was like.
Oh yeah.
It was weird too, because they had, the night I was there, so they had like 4 or 5 of these older ladies, curvy ladies, whatever, which I like that. I like the more voluptuous type. But then at the end, there was this like very, very skinny kind of goth chick that went up there, and she was not dancing in stripper style at all. She was kind of doing her own artsy thing. And I thought, oh, this is okay. This is cool. But the entire crowd just kind of lost interest at that point.
Okay.
And I felt bad for her,
Yeah, I remember when I was there, like you said, there's a bunch of the older type ladies. And then a younger girl goes up there, and she was like really good looking and everything. And I was like, oh man, she's kind of out of place here. And then she lit her nipples on fire. And I was like, oh, okay.
Oh shit. Okay.
That's why she's here.
People were talking about that, but I think we left before that one came out. I didn't get to see that. That would be something to see. I think I'm going to go back.
Yeah.
just to see. So basically, it's that wax thing.
Yeah.
You light the wax on fire over the. Okay. Yeah.
Uh-huh. Yeah. And I forget who was with us. There was a guy who did a really well-known cartoon, and I forget the name of it right now. But he was with us. He was like one of the creators of the cartoon. And wow. He was just living it up, dude. He was getting lap dances from he got a lap dance from this really big older lady, and he's like wearing her bra on his head, and it's so funny.
Oh man, that sounds like fun. I didn't, and again, I think we didn't stick around long enough for that. I should have. I'm gonna do that next time I go down. I'm getting a lap dance.
Yeah, yeah. I wasn't even there that long either. I bet we were there maybe an hour, and I got to see how that happened. So.
Yep. Well, the place that we went right before was, I remember it was me and Luke Moans from New York. Do you know him? Have you ever performed? Cool guy, real funny. Me and him and God, who was the guy? John something from LA. The name escapes me, but the three of us went to Dugan's Bar and Grill right next door to the Claremont. Then we joined up with these other comics and did the Claremont, and then we went to the Majestic Diner, and we're sitting there eating like chicken waffles and eggs until like 4 a.m. It was just not advisable, but that felt like the road to me,
Yeah, for sure.
Just hanging with comics, doing that kind of stuff,
Yeah, when I was there, I shared a hotel room with Grant Lyon, Mark Agee, and Alex Hooper, who I didn't even know the guys really at the time. I met him in LA when we were doing a show, and so we just split the bill for like 4 nights or whatever. I think it cost us like $80 total for each.
Oh wow!
And so we're like sleeping on the floor and shit, taking turns or whatever, but. Yeah, man, we had a blast. Like that was my first time ever to Atlanta too, so it was really cool, and got to see a lot of cool stuff and get on a lot of shows. I lied to get on one show. They had this show at I think it was called the Relapse Theater, which is
that little basement church.
It used to be a church. Yeah, so they had this show going on Saturday night, and I knew a couple of the comics that were supposed to be on it were in the finals for the Laughing Skull. So I just told the guy with the clipboard, and I just pointed at one of the names. He's like, that's me. And he's like, all right, cool. You got 5 minutes.
Nice. That's great.
Yeah. So I was able to do a set. That was pretty cool.
Nice.
That was a really cool room. I don't know if they still do. They used to have. I'm sure you know this. They used to have like, I think on Saturday nights, like super late shows where the headliners from all the clubs in town would show up and do sets. So like if Jay Leno was in town doing the Punchline, he would go down there and do a set. And just whoever was there in town would just show up at like 2 a.m. or something and do a really super late night show.
Wow, that's awesome. No, the night I went to, because I went there the same night as Laughing Skull, and it was like standard open mic, but before the mic, Ian Abers, I don't know if you know him, Ian Abers, and then there's a guy named Greg Barons with an S, kind of like Greg Barrett, but not the same guy. Those two guys ran a kind of a live podcast talk show type format right before that, so I got to see them riffing, and that was really good.
Oh, cool.
So then, yeah, and I did like 5 minutes that I was going to do the next night on the festival. Did really well with that set at the Relapse. Then ate shit like you wouldn't believe on the early show on the festival. And halfway through my set, and I didn't realize who it was, there was this group of younger people watching the show, and they kind of chuckled a little bit at my jokes, but then halfway through they get up and walked out. I found out later that was Millie Bobby Brown from Stranger Things.
Wow.
And her boyfriend and some other friends. So I walked a famous person. Yeah.
That's awesome. Oh yeah, buddy.
Yeah. A little claim to fame, you know?
Yeah, that's cool. How funny.
It didn't feel great at the moment.
Yeah.
Oh, they're leaving, you know.
Don't they film Stranger Things somewhere in Georgia?
Yeah, I think it's somewhere around there. Some of it's in Atlanta, and then they go up to like some place like Siloam Springs, like out in the rural part of Georgia, something like that.
Yeah, I had a buddy that used to live up north, and I don't remember what town it was, but it was where they filmed. I forget the name of the movie. It had Paul Rudd and Jennifer Aniston. But he said that he remembered seeing this lady jogging down the street one day, and he's like, "Holy shit, it looks like Jennifer Aniston." So he drove past her. He's like, "Holy shit, that is Jennifer Aniston."
That's awesome.
Yeah. How many festivals have you done now, Jeff?
Oh boy, I mean,
you are a festival fool, man. You go all the time.
Oh, I really. Well, you and I were on that the Paris, the Tower City Comedy Festival.
Yeah, that was a blast, man.
That was awesome, and I did that same one the year before.
Cool.
So let's see, those two, and I just did the Punchline one, Red Clay. Trying to think. Oh, and then Four Corners out in Durango. Met a lot of your Albuquerque folk. That was great. So I don't know, 5 or 6 so far now.
Cool. Which one's your favorite? Do you have a favorite?
Red Clay has been my favorite so far, and Tower City is right. I would say those two are tied.
Cool.
Because just the way that, you know, it's just such a great hang, and you know, I love Texas. Love Atlanta, you know. And the thing with Tower City, after we did our thing, I stayed like an extra week and a half in Dallas and did a couple guest spots at Hyenas of Fort Worth and stuff like that.
How'd that go? Was it good?
That was real good. I don't know if you've ever played the Red Room there.
I've done karaoke in there.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So, yeah, that was real good. My friend John Brown, shout out John Brown.
John Brown.
He's
supposed to be on the podcast, and he keeps blowing me off, son of a bitch.
Well, that's because he'll say, "Okay, we're gonna do this in 5 minutes." Hey, by the way, and then he'll turn on the TV and watch TV
that's
for an hour.
That's what I need to do, because I'm going to be in Fort Worth next week. I'm just going to show up at his place with my podcast stuff.
That's what you have to do, because otherwise I love the guy because he's got so much creative energy, but it'll go in 8 different directions at one time.
Yeah, he's a great dude.
He showed me all his cars and stuff that he was working on. We rode around in this LeBaron convertible, and I swear, like the back door of the thing was just going to fall off at some point. And he says, "Hey man, I'll sell you this. Well, not this car. I think I want to keep this one, but I got this other, it's like a VW convertible. It might break down, but if it does, I'll come and get you. Like, even if you're in Oklahoma, I'll drive up and get." I'm like, I don't know, man. So
yeah, no kidding. And then he'll be like, yeah, I'm coming to get you. Oh shit, I ended up at Arby's.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, I love that guy though.
Yeah, he's awesome. Super funny guy too.
Yep.
So hopefully I'll get to see him next week.
Yeah, I don't know. He came up here. He lived here in Denver for a brief
period. He worked at the Improv.
Yeah, right. Like I don't know, 2016 or somewhere back then.
Yeah.
And then I hadn't seen him for a while. And then when I went down there last year, I was like, holy crap, that guy, he's gotten really good, really fast. That's always cool to see,
Yeah, it's great. Yeah.
Anyway, Sorry.
No, I love the dude. He's awesome. We were actually hanging out at the club in Tulsa one time, and I think it was him. I'm pretty sure it was him. We were watching, there's some TV show on. They have a couple TVs at the bar there, and he was on one of the TV shows.
Oh,
we were just like sitting there. It was like some crime show or something. He's like, oh shit, I'm on this episode.
Was he a defendant or a plaintiff?
I don't know. I don't know if I actually got to see his scene or not, but
yeah,
it was pretty funny.
It'd be great. Yeah. What's his name? I forgot the comedian. Anthony Clark used to have a joke. Every time the show Cops comes on, I'm like, "Ooh, maybe we'll see Uncle Goober on there this time." It's like I thought of certain members of my former family that might happen.
Oh yeah. My old writing partner had a joke. He goes, "You guys ever see an episode of Cops, and that shows why the reason your dad left 7 years ago?"
That almost sounds like a Troy Baxley thing again. He goes, "Yeah, I'm watching Cops," and the guy comes up and he's like, "You guys get off my gazebo," and it's like, "Get off my porch," aka milk crates. He goes, "You go into home. What's the thing?" He says,
"Mobile Home Depot."
Mobile Home Depot, and you go in. I need a roof. Oh, okay. Yeah, tires. We got a bunch of tires. We can glue them together. Put a tarp over it.
Yeah, I get 4 more gallons of milk. I'll have me a summer deck lined up.
Yeah, that's what it is. Or they're standing and get off my yard.
You're squishing down my dirt.
My dirt. Man,
so funny.
There's this other local comedian, Paul Brown, who used to tour with him years ago.
Oh,
They'd
really?
be up in Wyoming. They'd be like cruising up to like Casper, Wyoming or something. And they'd be passing by this old house, and there'd be like this old burnt out jalopy sitting in the yard. And Troy just riffs on that, like, "Oh yeah, Mabel and Fran are sitting out there on the deck." She's like, "When you gonna move that car?" And he goes, "What? You too proud to have a jalopy?" And it's just, so every time I see Paul Brown, I'm like, "Hey, get your jalopy," Anyway, shout out Paul Brown.
Oh yeah. I don't think I've ever met Paul.
Yeah, he's a cool guy. He's been around a long time. He was out of the scene for 13 years. And then he came back maybe a year or two ago. And it's just, it's interesting to talk to him because you hear all those old road stories about these comedians that we admire,
Yeah.
Like Troy and Mikey Long and all those guys. That's like way before me.
Oh, yeah.
But just because I started in 2012 and I didn't meet Troy. I knew who he was, but I met him in like 2016.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, so I'm like, oh my God, you're that all I knew about him was that he started Lion's Lair and he did the fight. And I'm like, you're the fight guy. He's like, yeah, bro, here's my card.
Yeah, when my friend Holly met him, it was so funny because I had told Holly like so many stories about him, and I helped Holly like get started in comedy. And so we were up in Denver one time. We just stopped there on our way to South Dakota, and we stopped at Three Kings. They're having an open mic,
Oh yeah.
And Baxley was there. And so I'm shooting the shit with him and stuff. I hadn't seen him in a while. And then Holly walks over. I was like, hey, Holly, this is Troy. And then she's like, Troy Baxley? I was like, yeah. She's like, holy shit. she's like totally freaking out. That was so fun.
God, that's awesome.
Yeah.
The last time he came to Three Kings one night, and there was a co-host. I think Sammy Anzer was co-hosting for Nathan Lund, who usually hosts it. And Troy comes in, and he says, "Hey, buddy, can I sign up for the comedy open mic thingy?" And Sammy's like, I don't think Sammy has ever met Troy or anything, so he didn't know it was him. And he goes, yeah, here's the list, man. What's your name? My name's Joshua Tompkins. This will be like my third time doing comedy. Is it okay if I do some comedy? And Sammy bought it. He's like, yeah, sure, go ahead. And so he goes up fully. I don't know if you've ever seen him do that character.
Oh, yeah. I'll tell you a story when you're done with this one.
Yeah, well, so he just goes up and he tells just the stuff was so deliberately bad that it was insanely funny. Like the entire back of the room was cracking up.
Oh, yeah,
the people kind of to the side and by the bar were just
the people who are in on the joke, they get it.
They get it and they laugh. But then there were like some newer friends of mine that have started recently, and they're like, why do these old men think that they're going to start comedy now? And so I'm just sitting there. I didn't let him in on it, but
yeah.
And they're like, why are all these guys laughing? I'm like, well, Anyway, I'm rambling.
Okay, no, you're good. I used to work with Troy all the time. Like the first time I ever worked with him was 2003 at Laughs here in Albuquerque, and then once we started working together, he always requested me to be his opening act every time he'd come here.
Nice.
And the club owner loved him, so he'd bring him down twice a year usually. So one time we were hanging out, and we used to have open mic on Sunday before the regular show, like the pro show. So the open mic would go like from 7 to 8 or something, and then we'd just go into the pro show. So the guy hosting one night was this guy named Trevor L.A., who was a terrible comic, and I have no idea whatever happened to him. So I could say whatever shit I want.
Yeah.
But he was awful, and he kept fucking up people's names and just was really bad. Me and Troy are just sitting on the back, and Troy's like, what is this dipshit doing? And then Troy goes, watch this. And he goes over and talks to the host, and then he looks at me, and he's got this big old grin on his face. I was like, oh, this is going to be fucking good. And so whoever was on stage gets off stage, and then the MC goes up and he goes, hey, everyone, we actually have a special treat for you tonight. We got a first-timer. Please welcome Joshua, everybody. So Troy goes up on stage, and he doesn't even go to the middle of the stage. He grabs the microphone like this, like he's gripping it like this, and he's like staring directly down at the ground, and he's doing that for like 30 seconds, like just he's dragging it out as long as he can. Yeah. And you could tell he's like gripping that motherfucker as hard as he can, and he's looking down, and then finally he looks up and he looks around and he goes, "Fuck this." He sets the mic down and runs off.
That's awesome.
And nobody in the crowd knew who he was, so made it even better. Like everybody's like, poor dude.
No, that's that's the ultimate trolling situation, you know?
And to make it even better, like most of that crowd stayed for the regular show. So of course, when I bring him up as the headliner, they're like, motherfucker.
That's great. They've been had, you know?
Yeah. It's so funny, man.
And I did a bunch of different shows with a couple times at Looney's, and he would always go up to the Arms of the Angel song, and he would start in the crowd. What he would have me do, he says, okay, so do your thing, do your set, and then say, all right, this next comedian, he was in the semifinals of HBO or finals of the HBO Comedy Festival. He's the Black Entertainment Performer of the Year, that one. And he goes, Troy Baxley. And then he goes, set the mic down at the foot of the stage and then just walk off. They cue the music. He's going through the crowd and he's like, saluting people and waving. And then he just stops and stares at this one guy and he just goes, like, just flips the guy off, turns. And I'd seen him do that part before. Everybody's cracking up. He turns, and to this table, like over on this side, stage right, there's this a cowboy and a cowgirl, like a husband and wife, and they got like the 10-gallon hat, the whole bit. So he like turns to them and he just does the like the spinning the lasso move. And I thought the wife was just cracking up. The husband's just like, man,
yeah.
He's just all pissed. Then he gets up and does his thing. But man, God, that was so original,
Oh yeah. He reminds me of Andy Kaufman in some ways.
Yeah.
And then his material is just so fucking brilliant, man.
Oh, there's you and I talked about this where like nobody else could come up with some of that shit that he's thought of. There's so many things that are familiar, and everybody's got their take on it and it's great, but you just never hear like there's no comic that I've ever seen that has done anything remotely like, hey, you ever try to tit fuck a she hobo? I mean, just that weird shit.
Oh yeah.
Or the fight bit,
The Blow Up Doll Factory Company Picnic.
The Blow Up Doll Company Picnic. Hey, I'm Bob. I work in textures. What's the thing about how I don't know if it was in that bit specifically, but he was talking about how he goes, having sex with a blow up doll, it could get hazardous. Can you imagine the embarrassment? Say, hey, what happened to you, Jim? Well, I ripped my nutsack open on the hip seam of that blow up doll.
Oh yeah. The setup was something like, you ever talk to a friend you haven't talked to in a while and you realize why you haven't talked to him in a while?
Yeah, that's what it is. Good.
Like you're just conversating and all of a sudden he's like, how you doing, man? He's like, well, not great. Cut my nutsack on the hip seam of a blow-up doll.
Yeah.
I'm gonna sue the company.
Yeah, and I think then that's when he launches.
That's when, he's like, that's right. The Blow Up Doll Factory does have a company. They don't just fall out of the sky like my third grade art drawings.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah, I have a couple of my own blow up doll / fleshlight / sex robot jokes. Sometimes they hit perfectly well, but man, some clubs they do not.
Oh yeah.
Like you know how it is.
Yeah.
Well, dude, yeah. When I was in Atlanta, it was funny because I did those jokes, and the crowd ate that shit up. Mm-hmm. And then I have one Christian mingle joke, and they shut down. They're like, "Oh, you don't make fun of the church down here. This is the Bible,"
Yeah, it's so weird. If I performed in Tulsa one time, and I've got this joke about my dad swearing. Like he would take like a normal swear word and then throw in a bonus swear word, and one of them was Jesus Christ wasn't good enough. He'd be like, Jesus key fucking Christ. Like he said that all the time, and I'd usually get a laugh, But some lady after the show in Tulsa one time, I knew she was gonna say something. She was pissed, and she ranted for like 3 minutes about why I shouldn't do the joke and all this stuff, and then when she was done, I was like, the racist joke was cool though, right?
Yeah. Well, no, that was, and I shouldn't say Atlanta overall, because it was this one club on the east side of Atlanta, and I mean, there were only 8 people in the room anyway, and 5 of them were offended at the Christian mingle. And I go, yeah, but I did jokes about like, the first version of the fleshlight was Jeffrey Dahmer's lampshade. They didn't get offended at that, but they couldn't handle Christian. It's like the way people are in and out of certain jokes and stuff.
Yeah, it's so weird because I have a joke where I go, when I was younger, I wasted a lot of money on this big pyramid scheme. It was called church, and Yeah, it's hit and miss all over the place, and I'm starting to realize that I probably shouldn't tell that one in Texas and
Sure.
Oklahoma, anywhere in the Bible Belt, really.
Or on the church tour,
Yeah.
It's like there's comedians who do, man, like who I love is John Christ. I don't know if you know him.
Yeah, I know
Him
John.
and Tim Hawkins a couple years were playing. I didn't get to go to the show, but they were out in Aurora. There's this big mega church out there,
Oh, yeah.
And when I, in my mind, crunch the numbers of they're cleaning up on that tour, man. A place like that will seat 3,000 people. They're selling tickets for like what, $15 a piece or something. Holy man. But they're each doing, like, Chris does 30 to 40 minutes, and then Hawkins does like an hour. And to be that clean, not even just cruise ship clean, but church clean. Holy crap. I don't think I could do that.
But their agent gets 10%. God.
Think about that. Because what, for one show, God, that's got to be what, like 40 grand for the tickets.
Something like that, yeah.
And then I'm sure they tithe to that local church or something, But you're still making anyway. I'd rather have my Craigslist freaky sex kink jokes and and make less,
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I used to do shows with John in Denver all the time. I lived up there like 2009, 2010, and then off and on again, 2015 and stuff. But yeah, we used to do shows at Wits End all the time when it was open.
I never got to do that club. Sorry.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it closed down. It was sad. Yeah, John was he was just hosting back then, and
okay.
Yeah, he was always funny, and then he moved out to LA and just blew up, and I was like, holy shit, that's the same dude I used to perform with all the time. That's cool.
Yep. Yeah, I met him backstage at Comedy Works there in that hallway, just on one of the new talent nights, and Wendy gave him like a headliner spot at the end of the show, and I was just like, holy shit. And because I had seen some of his church stuff on YouTube, and I'm like, okay, that's good stuff, real funny. But that night at Comedy Works, he just did regular stuff, and I'm like, it's like, oh, he can be dirty too,
Yeah.
No, he wasn't like dirty, but
Yeah. He was never like super dirty, but I never saw him as a church comic. But yeah, but good for him, man. So he was always a nice dude too. I always liked working with him.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Plus, he said my "Where's Waldo" joke was his favorite one of all time, so I thought that was cool.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite. I think that's either my all-time favorite personally, or just because the delivery, man. It's like it's real quiet. Then he goes, "Oh, there he is," just very uneventfully,
Yeah.
But that one and the whole where the woman hits your car while you're in your house and everything. Hey,
Did I tell you that was a true story?
Yeah, well, I think I remember part of it. What was the actual background to that? What happened?
I was sleeping at my buddy's house, and this lady knocked on the door, and she's like, "Hey, is that your car over there?" I was like, "Yeah." She's like, "I just hit it with my car," and I looked at her for a second, and I was like, my neck.
Oh, so you just literally.
Yeah. And she started laughing, and then she gave me like $150 or something.
Oh, cool.
I never
not
fixed
enough
it.
to fix the car, but yeah.
Oh yeah, no, my friend fixed it with one of those things that it was just like a little dent,
Oh, where you can pull out the.
Yeah, I don't remember what it's called, but yeah, he had one of those.
Wow, that's wild.
Yeah.
So, like, you started in way back then, like early 2000s, or?
I started in 2001. Like, this is my 20th year.
Wow. Holy crap, man, that's awesome.
Yeah, my 20-year anniversary is August 5th. So
sweet.
I'm trying to find a venue here in town to do like a big old show or something.
Man, yeah, that would be badass. Yeah. Oh, you know what you should do? Hit up. I'll send you the detail, but the place that used to be Voodoo Comedy Playhouse, they're now called Rise. The guy just posted something about how we're getting set to open up, and so I'm kind of giving sort of an open call to, if you've got a show idea or this or that, here's an email. So They might be that. That's a nice little room.
Yeah, I've been there. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. I just lined up a gig in Morrison, Colorado in July. That's that's just outside of Denver, right?
Yeah. It's kind of on the other side of 470, like in the foothills.
Yeah, near Lakewood, kind of.
Quaint. Yep. West of Lakewood, it's kind of this quaint little town. There's like this whole little string of bars and grills along that highway. I wonder if it's one of those.
I think it is. Yeah, it's like a Mexican restaurant type of deal.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So that'll be cool. I'll try to line up some other stuff in Denver around that for sure.
Yeah, let me know when that is, man. I'll come check it out.
Okay, cool. Good. I will. I think it's July 16th. I think that's what.
Okay.
16th, something like that. Yeah.
Right.
Do you have any gigs coming up?
Oh yeah, let's see. Man, now all of a sudden my brain is blanking, but I know I got something.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know when, but I just saw Eric at Looney's on the 12th. I did Tracy Kellett's habitual offender show. Cool. And after the show, he goes, "Yeah, bro, hit me up." So, I don't know, maybe July, August, I'll be back at Looney's. God, I know there's something. I'll think of it. But I've got a couple. What's the? There's. Do you know the Dead Room comedy guys? Josh Emerson, and they're from Durango, but they live here now, and they've got a show coming up on like the 26th, and I forgot the name of it. So I got that coming up.
Nice.
And yeah, other than that, I'm trying to getting back to the whole festival thing. What I try to do is enter festivals, like enter way more than I think I'll get into, 10 at a time or whatever. Because I'd love to get into like Red Clay again this year. But there's that Plano one also in Texas.
Yeah.
Have you done that one?
No.
The Plano Festival? Okay.
I always hear about it afterwards, and I'm like, I should apply for that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, I've gone through that too. The thing is, it's like it's a tough thing because you get so many. At least I have so many rejection letters, and it's always, hey, well, thank you for entering the such and such festival, and every year we have to sift through. This is a hard job, 400 people, and you're really funny, but unfortunately, we couldn't find a spot for you on the show. And I would almost rather have them say, okay, look, you suck. Try again, but yeah, we didn't like what you had to offer, or something. Just give me the straight. It's like one time I was. This is a weird switch, but I was going down on this woman one time. And my favorite part of that is if the woman reacts. Like, I love the reaction. But this woman was just kind of laying there, and at one point I go, hey, how am I doing? How is it? And she just looks up at me and she kind of goes, like, just shrugs and goes, yeah, it's all right. Like
fill out a comment card.
Like, it's all right. And I go, no, I would rather have you say, well, you really suck at this, I'm gonna leave. At least that's something.
Yeah, and your jaw won't be as sore the next day.
Yeah. Which I like, because that means that, hey, I put the work in. I feel accomplished, burn some calories. But no, that's how it feels getting rejected from these festivals, because they're just trying to downplay it,
Yeah, for sure.
And it's like, but yeah, I get it. What do you do? Like you don't want to hurt anybody's feelings, so, but you're gonna,
Yeah. I used to get into whenever I used my old Comedy Works video, I would get into festivals.
That's what I did. Yep.
And then I was like, man, it's getting old now. I don't want to use it anymore. So I started using a different one, and then I got rejected for like 3 in a row, and I was like,
oh wow.
Man, I should use
go back to the
Works video. But it was an older one, like from 2010. So I was like, I can't keep using that. I don't even do some of those jokes anymore.
I mean, I know what you mean though, because it's like anytime I use either the one that got me into Red Clay or the 2019 New Faces contest one that I did, that one gets me into festivals. And it's amazing because sometimes this is an interesting thing. Like people sometimes are surprised that I'm getting into stuff because they only see me at open mics usually. And it's I mean, at open mics, I try to either riff or try something new or whatever. And so they're like, oh, yeah, Jeff Koehn, he's not that good. But they don't know that when I do a showcase, I've got tight jokes.
Yeah, yeah.
And the festival people, they're like, okay, that may or may not be my cup of tea, but man, boom, joke. That's always going to impress people,
Yep.
So, sorry, now I'm pontificating. And
no, you're fine. You're fine. It's good to have haters, Jeff.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's true. Well, for me, it gives me fodder for more material, really.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and most of the people who are talking shit about other comics they're just gonna end up being open micers anyway. So
true. Hey, we need them too. Who was the guy you mentioned earlier? That had the
Trevor LA?
Yeah, there's always that guy.
The thing I hated about Trevor LA is like, so he had a lisp really bad, and he never joked about it. He never brought it up. But when you went on after him, the microphone was always cold and wet. And it was so gross.
That's horrible.
So then we came up with a thing where like, hey, we want you to headline this open mic. So he would go last. So nobody had to deal with the cold, wet microphone.
That's kind of a good move to arrange it like that, Well, I have a lot of friends that run shows, either mics or like small local showcases, and sometimes you'll get somebody who's persistently complaining about the list order. It's like, I've been waiting here, whatever. So now the move is that what they do is they just automatically put that guy up first. Okay, yeah, here he is. Boom, boom, boom. All right, now cool. Now we're done with that, and they don't have to deal with it.
Sure.
So.
Yeah, that's the way to do it. Yeah, I never understood people complaining about the list and all this other stuff. It's weird.
Well, it's just pointless, and
I
mean, or there will be people who will complain about the way somebody runs the mic, and it's like, well, get your own mic then,
Yeah. It's like if your material's strong enough, it's gonna work wherever you're on in the show or however the person's hosting the show.
Yeah.
That's not affecting you at all, unless So yeah. If you're good enough, you'll be fine.
Yeah, and I think the only thing that then gets really annoying is that, sure, yeah, sometimes there's a host that will do 15 minutes of material between comics or something like that.
Yeah.
Then I think people have a right to kind of complain about it,
For sure. Unless it's a situation where the comedians were so bad and you're trying to get the crowd back.
Yeah, for sure.
I've seen that happen several times.
Me too. I have seen that, but man, there's a couple situations where you're just like, okay, this host just is not getting booked enough or something, and they're just trying to make up for that time by doing a new set between everybody. And
exactly.
It's like,
And they're like, I'm running the lights, so I can do whatever I want.
Have you ever had one of those things happen where there's somebody, I don't know, like maybe a newbie or somebody who just doesn't give a fuck, where they just blatantly run the light?
Yeah. I was actually doing a show in my hometown in Fort Dodge, Iowa, and booked this venue I've wanted to perform at since I was a kid. It was like this place, Buddy Holly did like one of his last shows there. Old school ballroom, like it's fucking cool. So my cousin helped me rent the room and stuff, and did a bunch of promotion for it, like packed the place. It was awesome. And there's a local guy. I brought Don Morgan from Denver to feature for me.
Yeah, I know
so
Don.
Me and Don were going to be on the show. And then this guy hit me up. He was a local guy. He said he wanted to do some time. And I was like, yeah, it'd be great, man. Do like 5 to 7 minutes up front or something like that.
Yeah.
Fuck, he did like 25 of the worst fucking material I've ever seen in my life.
Oh.
I don't remember his name or anything, and like I was lighting him, but he didn't know what the fuck the light was. You know what I mean? So I didn't want to just walk up on stage and be like, "Get the fuck out of here" and be a dick, you know.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
It was rough, man.
Dude, but I've seen that too, man. I used to go to the Bovine. That was one of the first places I did comedy. And strange, awesome little room. There was no microphone for a couple years into that show, so you just had to kind of project really loud to the crowd. And finally, Eric, the owner, one night was hanging out. Like for that show, he would never be around. But one night he decided to hang out, and somebody was saying, my friend Will was telling this other guy, Blake, that, you got to yell because there's no microphone. Eric overhears and goes, "What? You guys haven't had a microphone? Are you kidding? This whole time you've run this show without a microphone? Well, let me go get you one." And we had it never occurred to us that he had one, you know?
How funny.
So finally, for the last couple shows, we had a microphone. But anyway, so the way the show would work is this improv guy named Jim Gaffney ran this Sunday night show. And he said, "Okay, so here's what's going to happen. I will give you a light at a minute before, and then if you don't acknowledge it, then I will assume that you don't have a clue, and then when you're at time, I will like flash it 3 times really obnoxiously. If you keep talking, I will cut the mic, now that we have a mic, and then if you keep talking, I will just walk right up on stage and physically push." And he did that a couple times. There were some people that just ran everything, and he had to walk him off the stage, man. It was crazy.
Oh yeah, I remember the Bovine. It was a little improv theater, right?
Yep, exactly. And I don't know if it's still there after the COVID thing.
Okay.
Hope it is.
It was a small venue, wasn't it? Pretty small.
Yeah, I think it only seats like maybe 40 people.
Yeah.
My
old roommate did improv over there.
Oh, okay. Was he strictly improver or?
No, he did stand up too. Jake Sharon. I don't know if you know that name.
Yeah, I know the name. I don't know if I met him.
Okay. He was. A lot of people in Denver know him if you asked him. But yeah, he moved out to North Carolina a few years back.
Okay.
He still does improv, but he doesn't tour around doing comedy anymore.
Okay.
We used to tour a lot together. It was a blast.
Oh yeah, that's nice. I'm trying to get out on the road more myself, and and that's kind of the reason I do the festivals is that gives me an excuse to stay a little bit longer and try to pick up extra shows and stuff like that.
Sure.
Get some road experience.
Yeah, it's a great way to network in those towns and stuff, and get seen at the local clubs and stuff like that. That's great.
Oh yeah, when I was in Atlanta, there was this other thing that I found out. Okay, so Atlanta is like really amazing for food. Everything's just over the top, and I was at this place back when I did Red Clay. I don't even remember the name of the venue, but I'm eating a shrimp po' boy, and it was just freaking amazing. The waitress, we're talking, and she goes, "Hey, honey, you want to know the secret to why all of our food tastes so much better down here in the South?" I go, "Yeah, sure, lay it on me." And she goes, "Well, it's because down here in Georgia, Alabama, and Mississippi, the state health department doesn't have any rules as pertaining to how long we can allow the grease to remain on the trap, the deep fryer. So basically, you've got congealed grease that could have been there for 3 months, and that's what it keeps the flavor in, apparently." And I said, "Well, I don't know how to feel about that." Like, it works for my taste buds, but it may be quite a risk on the health, God.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so if you're ever down in Atlanta, get the shrimp po' boy.
Oh yeah. Hey, we already hit 45 minutes, buddy.
Oh shit. Okay.
Yeah, I went by fast. Do you have a website or anything where people can find your stuff?
Yeah. So my art you can, let's see, it's www.jefftheartist.wordpress.com. And I've got a lot of my art on there, or hit me up on Facebook, Jeff Koehn art page on Facebook. I'm doing my art there. And yeah, around town. My YouTube channel for my comedy is Jeff Koehn Comedy. And the last name is spelled Koehn. And yeah.
My YouTube.com is like W8Z34. I don't know what it is.
Yeah. Oh wait, that's yours, you mean?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I used to have Funny Fletcher, but I lost the password and I have no way to get it back. So.
Oh, geez.
I've emailed them. I've tried finding my old email addresses and everything, and just can't figure it out. So I just started a new one.
Oh, that's the YouTube one, or just?
Yeah, YouTube.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think if I just type in Curt Fletcher, it'll probably eventually take.
That's where I put my podcast on, is on the YouTube page, and then a bunch of different audio ones as well.
Right.
Well, cool. I appreciate you coming on, man. Taking the time to do this, and
thanks for having me. Yeah,
for sure.
Hell yeah, man.
And I'll hit you up when I'm up in Denver for sure.
Yeah, please do.
Yeah. All right. Well, you take care of yourself, buddy.
Yep, you as well. Have a great day, man.
You too. Nice talking to you.
All right, we'll see you.
See you, buddy.
Bye-bye.
Hey, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. It was a lot of fun talking to Jeff. It was fun talking about Troy Baxley, sharing some Baxley stories. If you got any cool Troy Baxley stories, you should share them in the comment section of whatever you're listening to this on, or if you're watching it on YouTube. I could probably do a whole episode about Troy Baxley stories. Shit. That was fun. I got some shows coming up. Pretty excited about that. Getting back on the road. Let's see, tomorrow, Wednesday, I'm doing a show in Albuquerque at Revel. Wednesday night, 8 o'clock, I believe. It's a tribute show to a comedian who recently passed away, Thomas Crumb. Rest in peace, buddy. I didn't know him very well, but he was always a nice dude. Got May 24th, I'll be on Jarrett Goes to the Movies podcast. Check that out live. You can check it out on YouTube or Twitch. Just type in Jarrett Goes to the Movies and you'll find it on there. May 27th through the 29th, I will be at Hyenas in Fort Worth. Super excited about that. It's an awesome club. June 9th through the 12th, Oklahoma City Looney Bin. Another awesome club. June 17th through the 19th, Wichita Looney Bin, awesome club. A lot of fun there. June 24th, Mason City, Iowa, Bricks Bar. June 25th, just added on, be at Britt, Iowa, at the Britt Bar and Grill. And then I've got some stuff. I just lined something up in July in Morrison, Colorado. I'll have to look up the venue. I haven't even added it to my website yet. And then, of course, August 12th through the 15th, be at the Reno Laugh Factory. So, and most of those dates will be with Tim Gaither, my good friend that I tour with all the time. So it's going to be awesome. Not much else is going on. Just want to thank John Singleton from Anesthesia. They just announced they're doing their CD release party at the Launchpad in Albuquerque, June 26th, which unfortunately I won't be able to attend. Seems like I'm always out of town when they do their release parties. Damn it. So if you're in town, check that out. June 26th. Anesthesia. New album. Also, thanks to Jarrett Reddick from Bowling for Soup. And I'm not sure when their new album's coming out, but they have a new single out. Go check it out. And they're starting to put together some tour dates, it looks like. I actually just got a ticket to go see them in Texas on June 5th. So, pretty excited. So, thanks to Jarrett for Intro music, thanks to John for outro music. As always, if you want to buy some merch, you can use the code In The Right Podcast. That's all capitals, no spaces. That's at my store, funnyfletcher.com. I've got some t-shirts. I just got a whole new batch of them. So I've got small through 3X now. And I've got some stickers on there too. So that's it for this week. We'll talk to you next week. Have a super weekend, everybody.
Hello, my name is Brennan.
And my name is Jesse.
And we've been brothers our whole lives.
We also host a podcast called Dad, I Have to Pee.
Every Friday we discuss parenting and punk rock with a special guest.
We also answer your listener questions and impart our questionable wisdom.
Available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and all other places.
We're also on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at Dad, I Have to Pee.